So like it's 5:30. We'll start. Other people will join uh, as and when they like it. Once again, thank you for joining. My name is Prashant Ajmera. I'm an immigration lawyer and a founder of the Ajmera Law Group. We are in the practice of the residency and citizenship by investment since last 25 plus years. I'm also a Canadian citizen and author of a couple of books. Many of you already know me, probably attended earlier presentations or seminar. So this is another webinar. We are doing it because continuously we are receiving a request from the financial planners and the other professionals who are interested in joining this presentation and also interested in offering our services to their HNIs and ultra HNI clients. So let's just start with immediately. I'm going to take about 20-25 minutes of your time, give you an overview that where I see an opportunity for the Indian professionals, particularly the financial professionals, chartered accountants, wealth managers, real estate brokers, and corporate lawyers. The opportunities lie something in this one. Let me give you some background. As we all know that Indian HNI has remitted under the LRS scheme almost $14 billion globally out of India. And this is where we see an opportunity for the Indian professionals that if this your clients, my clients are remitting the money, are we really taking an opportunity in this or not? Probably not. Because of the lack of knowledge, lack of understanding, the rules and regulations, and also we don't know where the people are making an investment, why they are making an investment, how to market, why we should market, and so on and so forth, because this is all new type of spending is happening in Indian HNIs. So if we go back to a little bit about our economy in India, as we all know that Indian economy was primarily divided into three parts from 1947 to 1993. It was like a pre-liberalized time. There was no inbound or outbound investment allowed unless you take a specific permission from the government. But as we all know that the Indian doors opened in 1993 to 2007, it was an inbound investment. And what do I mean by inbound investment? Inbound investment was that the foreign companies were coming to India, establishing the presence in India. And when they are establishing the presence in India, making an investment, creating a jobs, and economy was liberalized. As we all know at that time, probably we had only two types of cars and two types of bikes or scooters, and now we are lost for the selections. But then the 2007 onwards, we saw that there is an outbound investment was allowed by the government under the LRS scheme, which is known as Liberalized Remittance Scheme. So that means as an individual Indian citizen, you can remit up to $500,000 or $250,000 per year per person. And that's basically changed the habit of people, because the middle class become an upper middle class become an affluent class. And then we saw that large surge into or increase into the HNIs and ultra HNIs in India. And with that increase in the HNIs and ultra HNIs in India, we saw a continuously spending by Indian HNIs from 2007 onwards till 2014, almost like a $14 billion, 14 billion US dollars which is almost about 30,000 crore rupees, which they've invested out of India. And when we look at their further spending, you can see on this red box, which is right in front of you, that that spending was primarily for the children's educations and children's welfare in foreign country. And that is mentioned at here, like you can see the study, which is the number 9, close relatives remittance, which was number 7 in the red box, and the gift is at the number 4. So if you combine all this amount together, out of these $14 billion, almost half of it, or $7 billion, were remitted by Indian HNIs and ultra HNIs for the study of their children's education. So that gives a one very good indication that the Indian HNIs and ultra HNIs, or Indian parents in general, wants their children to study abroad. But when it comes to a study abroad, you know, we all depend on the immigration agents and consultants who are not regulated, unfortunately, in India. And when the parents are making this big decision in their life, are they getting the ROI, or return on investment, which is their good education for their children and ultimately a settlement for the children in that country. So let me give you an example of the, like say for example, child is going to study. What happens to this remittance? When we made this remittance, what happened to this remittance? I mean, in this slide, you can see that continuous increase of spending by the Indian parents for their children's educations and settlement and welfare in foreign country. As a financial person, as a professional, we always like to see what is the return on investment. In this case, the return on investment was basically the good education for children and ultimate settlement. Did it really happen? Did they get the return what they were expecting? I believe that they haven't got it, and most of them are facing a problems. Like if you look at this chart here, in the yellow one, you see the EB1, EB2, and EB3. That gives you a basic idea about that how the children are in the foreign countries are, if they go to America to study, how they're going to get a green card. So let me give you a specific example that if child has gone in 2002 to America to study, and when he has gone to study in USA, he has studied for 2 years a master's program, probably has worked for 6 years on H1 visa, and now he has got a company probably in 2010 and 11 to basically get a green card in USA. Now in this EB1, EB2 and EB3 categories, there is a quota of only 40,000 per category, or 120,000 altogether. So with this 120,000 quota, when this system started 30 years back, there were not that many students were waiting in a line. Now there are almost thousands or hundreds and thousands of students are waiting for the American green card. So if we look at in this red stripe here, where India is written, you can see that the person who has applied for a green card under the EB1 category, in January 2015, he is still waiting for his green card. In EB2 categories, it's almost in April 2009, he is still waiting for his green card. In EB3 category, which is generally a master's programs or the sponsorship by the company, in July 2009, again, he is waiting for, since like July 2009, for a green card. So you can see that number of students who has gone to study in America several years back, even though their petition is approved for the green card, they are still waiting for a green card because there is a limited quota. And so that's why we can say that the parents who plan for the children's education in 2002 or in year 2000, the return on investment was delayed by several years. So does it make a sense to go to America and study and wait for so many years? If you are crazy about, yes, you can do it. If you are wealthy parents, will not look for another alternative. So what is an alternative for that? One of the alternative for that is a residency and citizenship by investment. But many of you must have heard recently in the last 2-3 years about the EB-5. Why there was a rise in the EB-5 in Indian market? One of the major reason was that most of the parents realized in India that their children are not getting the American green card, or if they go to America in the near future for a further study, they are not going to green card for several years. And that's why the wealthy parents were running around to get the American green card under the EB-5 investment category. At that point in time, the investment was $500,000. Now it has risen to almost 900,000 American dollars. Similarly, going to America, student visas into the college, like going to Canada, Australia, New Zealand, UK, the students are also facing the similar problem that they go for a study because they all believe that once we go, life is set. But they do not look into the possibility that how they're going to get their immigrations, how they're going to find a job, what program they should study, whether they should study into a college or whether they should go into the universities. And that's why many students are becoming an illegal immigrants, or they are coming back with the huge debts, or looking for an odd jobs in those countries. Why we are facing these problems? That's because we are facing this problem because there is a myth versus realities. We believe into certain things in India amongst the parents and children that once we go for a study abroad, anything we do, our life is set. They don't see the difference between a master's program and post-graduation program. They don't have an understanding of the difference between a college and university education. For them, study abroad is the same thing. They don't see the difference between that, okay, there is also an alternative available that by direct immigrations, you can go and settle in the foreign countries. They also do not see the difference between a lawyer and an immigration agent. Most of the parents and children believe that once we study abroad, our immigration is automatic. You can work and finance your study. Many parents who cannot afford, they say, well, once he goes there, we will provide him for a 1 semester or a 1 year, and then he will find a job and he will finance his study. It's very, very difficult to do this one. And they all believe that job offer from abroad is the most secure way to settle. And that's the reasons we see a problem with the Indian parents, Indian professionals are going abroad and sending their children for study abroad. So they're spending an awful amount of money. Obviously, they are earning that kind of money, and also financial planners, chartered accountants are advising them to save this money. But parents are getting frustrated now because they are not getting the results what they were expecting. Yesterday, I was talking to one financial manager from Hyderabad, and for personally himself, he says that I was not advised by anybody to look into this kind of a scenario. And now my 2 children are going to study in America. I'm going to spend almost 2 crore rupees per child in their university study. And by the time I finish their educations and financings, financially, I'm completely finished or ruined. There won't be anything left for me because whatever I have saved in every kind of way, except my main house, I'm going to spend on my children's education. And I say, even though I'm a financial planner, I'm financial advisors, frankly speaking, he said that I messed up my own planning. Forget about talking about the clients. So what are the alternatives, or what are the way we should look at it? Because basic principle remains that our spending habits of our HNIs and ultra HNI clients, and some of you as a professional are also HNIs and ultra HNI clients, our spending habits has changed, but our saving habit hasn't changed. And that needs to be changed when we are looking at the global investment advisory. So one of the main things what we advise to them is the residency and citizenship by investment. Why we advise the residency and citizenship by investment? We are not asking wealthy people to run away, but it's like a second options. You have a one house, but you buy an apartment, you have a farmhouse, probably you have another house in the north in India or somewhere in Kerala, so you can go and spend the time, or you have a second options available. So the residency and citizenship gives you that kind of an options to your HNIs and ultra HNI clients, and it gives you so many to achieve your financials and non-financial goals. The first, obviously, is the children's future and their settlement, business expansions, international real estate, quality of life, non-resident status, visa-free travel, tax planning, family reunion, diversification of your investment portfolio, and retirement. All those things you can achieve if you try to obtain the residency and citizenship by investment. Because you want your children to settle abroad, you want their educations, but you are not doing enough to establish yourself in a way that it can get you. So financially, basically, in India, all the HNIs, ultra HNIs who are sending their children to study abroad are basically making bad decisions, I would say. I'm making another presentation specifically on that aspect, that how and why we should market the global investment advisory to the Indian HNIs and ultra HNIs, for a very simple reason that our habits of spending money has changed. So how we look at it? What are the countries who are offering the residency and citizenship? These are the countries which are offering the residency and citizenship by investment. USA, Canada, UK, Australia, New Zealand are the first run countries. Then you have countries like Caribbean islands when our children are going to study medical. Residencies can be available in European countries as given here, like Portugal, Spain, Malta, Cyprus, Greece, Bulgaria. And once you are a resident of this one country, you have an access to 28 countries. So like a country like Portugal, why don't you buy an apartment or a property which is worth about a 4 CR, and it gives you a residency to your whole family, your children can study at a very reduced price. Why not you do it at that point in time in that country? Similarly, so the residency and citizenship is a one way to look at it. The financing, for the educations and settlement for your children. But many parents and many children come back and tell us that we are not ready. We cannot do this one because we have a very established business. We are in the joint family business. So then what do we do? Fine. If you are not ready, still we have an options. And the options we need to look at it is that first, if you look at the residency and citizenship by investment, and if you obtain the residency, say for example, you obtain the residency of Canada, it will convert into almost 80% reduction in your tuition fees for your child, because now you are a permanent resident of Canada. If you are not in a position to do it, our advice to our clients is that at the very early, rather than investing money into real estate in India, as now the government is allowed, diversify your portfolio, start investing into a real estate in a foreign countries. So at least you have your saving in foreign country. So your portfolio is diversified and it's already into a foreign country. If you are not comfortable with that, probably you want to look into the investing into the foreign stock market. Rather than investing into the Indian stock market, now government of India allows you to make an investment into foreign stock market. You can make an investment into London stock market. You can make an investment into New York stock market and into the top companies what you are comfortable with. Companies like Microsoft, companies like Alibaba. or any of these type of companies, if you want to make Fortune 500 companies of the world, not of India, of the world, you can make an investment which is now allowed, or you can make investment into a stock market, you can make an investment into bonds, government bonds, and all those things can be done. Like yesterday, we give a solution to one of the client, particularly for Bulgaria. They were looking for an opportunities in Europe, and they said that we do not want this real estate. We do not want to put money into the real estate or stock market. We are interested only in government bonds. So we advised to them that why don't you put money in a government bond in a Bulgaria? If you put money into a Bulgaria in a government bond, within the 2 years, you will get a residencies and citizenship of Bulgaria, which is a part of an European Union, and your family has a full access to all the 28 European countries. They like the ideas, they're discussing it, and it is possible. Or the last example we give it to our clients is the business persons, that if you are an import-export business, or if your business is such that you can expand it globally or outside, then try to make an investment outside India. So basically, what message we are trying to give to the Indian HNIs and ultra HNIs who wants the children to study abroad and who are going abroad for holidays, who are buying the stuff from abroad, but they are doing it by using their Indian money. They are not thinking that we should convert our part of our fortune, part of our earnings and savings into a foreign currency. So basically, financially, they are making a bad decision, bad choice. And I have a detailed presentations on that one, going more into detail into this one about that how to market and why we should market, and present this to the Indian HNIs about the global investment advisory. Why we are facing the problem in this area? Because most of the Indian professionals, the four which I like most, financial professionals, lawyers, chartered accountants, and real estate professionals who are very well regulated in India, they are not taking an enough interest. Visa consultant and the agent has a very limited knowledge about when it comes to the global investment advisory. So do you think that your HNI clients will go to an immigration agent or a consultant and talk to them about their financial affairs? And as there is a lack of knowledge, there is a lack of trust. Because if I advise something to them, to any of the HNI clients, they will feel that, okay, well, we got the advice from Mr. Ajmera to do this one, but let me go back to my financial professionals or my chartered accountants and find out what he has to say. Now, these professionals do not have enough knowledge about this kind of international product and services. He may not be in a position to give an opinion, or he might be giving an opinion in a negative way, and we lose the clients. But not only we are losing the clients, that's fine, means we have enough clients. But what we see is that HNIs is not going to make an informed decisions, and it's going to be a financially basically a ruin for him. There are not enough number of the professionals and real experts within the Indias. And that's why we believe that this knowledge should be more expanded, and more professionals should come forward where we can share our knowledge, who can associate it with us, and then provide our services and our solutions to your HNIs and ultra HNI clients if you are serving them, that how we can work with them and how we can assist them, give them enough knowledge so they can basically make an informed decisions about particularly their children's educations and financial planning in that respect. I had participated in January in the Network FP annual conference. One gentleman came from Bangalore. He had written a book on the saving for your child's education in foreign study. And we had a discussion for about 15 minutes. And when he looked at my presentations, he says that my whole book, I was going in a wrong direction to give an advice to my clients. He says, now if I have a client, I will bring them to you to advise them that what holistic approach the HNIs and ultra HNI clients can take when it comes to the children's study abroad and settlement. So that's basic in a nutshell I wanted to talk about. I mentioned about the residency and citizenship program. In order to spread this knowledge about the understanding about the residency and citizenship programs, last January I published a book, Millionaires on the Move, and that gives you enough informations, basic informations about the residency and citizenship by investment of the different countries, USA, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, European countries, Caribbean countries, and so on and so forth. When we started going more into deep into this subject, we realize also what we presented here, that most of the parents are looking at the children's educations rather than anything else. But there were a lot of misconceptions and misinformation were there, which I shared with you in earlier my presentations. So to basically provide more information on that, I just complete writing, and it's with the publishers, my second book, How to Plan for Your Child's Foreign Education in 2020. It was supposed to be launched in first week of April, but because of the corona, we could not do it. But we are likely to do this one in our online expo we are doing on 19th and 20th of April, means 19th and 20th of June. If you go to our event page, the same page, which is events.ajmeralaw.com, you can register on that one and you can join these sessions. We are having a presentation from different developers, different professionals, immigration lawyers for at least 8 to 10 different countries. I'm already in contact with the professionals and developers in 16 to 17 different countries who are already signed an MOU with us. So that's basic information I wanted to share with you. How you can provide these services to your clients. Obviously, you can become our registered associates, authorized associates, offer our solutions to your clients, arrange for an initial consultation and let your client make an informed decision. Obviously, what we have to look into it basically when it comes to the presentations. If you are more interested in connecting with us, I'm making another presentation on this subject, that how we can market this or how you can present this solution to your clients tomorrow at the 5:30 at the same time. You can send me an email again and I'll send you the link for that. Is a separate meeting. And we work with each and every one of clients. Many of the clients are already working with us and we are providing solutions to them. And they are very, very happy with the services what we provide, because as a law firm, obviously we have credibilities and we don't process all the files, but we have a very established relationship with the immigration lawyers and developers in different countries. And idea is, bottom line is one line, whether you do it with us or not, but if as an HNIs or an ultra HNIs, if your spending is going into the foreign currencies, you have to start thinking that how do you earn in foreign currency and how do you create your portfolio in foreign currency. If you have a very large base of your clients in India, you can do a similar presentation for your client where we come and talk about the whole group of clients. It could be like your annual function, then how to plan for your child's foreign education, where we can share a lot of free information and general information, but very useful tips about for the child's foreign educations. And if the HNIs and ultra HNIs are interested into personal consultations or small group consultation, either in person or now using the Zoom meeting, we can do that presentation as well in more details. So that's all I have wanted to say. Thank you very much for your time. Really appreciate joining me this afternoon. I'll now stop sharing my screen and I'll welcome if you have any questions or anything to ask or a comment. I'll be more than happy to answer. Anybody, any questions you guys have? Unmute yourself, sir, and you can ask question.